All right, let's talk about setting boundaries, but with friends. With friends too, okay? I know a lot of us struggle with this. He's like not interested. That's okay. This is from a what the hell mail column of a column. Please join my Patreon if you want to see more of my stuff. Great lives. The live with the lawyer who took down Larry Nassar is coming up, and so get on over there. Anyway, it's from Dear Carolyn. About a friend who overwhelms another friend. And I really think we should talk more about this because friendships are hard. Most friendships don't last for a super long time. It's normal to make friends, new friends. Actually, Danielle Bayard Jackson, who I've been on her podcast, I've interviewed her. She's amazing. She's specialized in women's friendships. Go follow her. I'll hope to remember to tag her. If I don't, let me know in the comments. She says that it's actually, the research shows that people tend to get new friends like every 7 years or so. So if you fall out of friendship with people, there's a reason why. Sometimes you outgrow each other, but a lot of times it's context. So let's just get into this because I have a lot to say about this. Dear Carolyn, I'm having a friendship problem. In short, I have one friend who is overwhelming me. She's funny, cool, smart, and interesting, but she seems to only want to communicate in a way that I correspond to my life in a sorority house almost 20 years ago. She just completely overwhelms me with notifications. When making plans, she defaults to what I would consider too, all caps, much, like corresponding very often and for a long time every time. I have a partner, a high maintenance family, a full-time job plus, and very civically engaged, and it's just not reasonable. It's reached a point where she's frustrated with me and I'm frustrated with her. I am only as available as I am, and I get she wants way more, but I cannot give it, which I have tried to explain, but I think she found it insulting. What do I do? Love too much or not enough? So let's see what Carolyn says. You do exactly what you're willing to do and not a bit more. Boom. Okay, you mute her when your attention needs to be on other things. If you're mid-conversation, just say, gotta go, and you respond when you are able. If she doesn't like this, then she can complain about it, at which point you can remind her once that you aren't on demand, you're as available. Period. Zero guilt. Well, I struggle with this a lot, so I'm gonna comment on this when I get through this. She cannot make you drop everything to text her back. Her only choices are to accept your reality, keep complaining, or drop the friendship, right? And if she chooses any option but the first, just because you don't respond instantly when you're making plans, then the problem is not her correspondence style. It's that she expects you and everyone else to be just like her. Common, alas, in a friendship. I'd put up with that for funny, but cool doesn't sound like enough. Oh, look at him. Okay, I agree with this. And I think this is a really important part of the conversation because there's a few things that make, I am no friendship expert, but I have learned a lot through the years. And I really struggle with this, especially because we have like the social media platforms, okay? Some people will message me through Instagram and sometimes Facebook, sometimes TikTok, sometimes what else? LinkedIn, and then there's text, and there's WhatsApp, and there's Signal, and there's all these platforms, and it's too much. I also have ADHD, so if I open up the text and read it, I will forget it exists. So I just like don't open it. I struggle so much to keep up. And one of the things that I have learned as somebody who, can get overwhelmed very easily is that a lot of people get overwhelmed very easily. But there's a lot of things about friendship that is going to change. If your friend has a child, they probably aren't going to be as available, and you can either adapt to their availability and not take it personally, or you can, go your own way. I know that when I was at the age when a lot of women were having kids, I had to keep making new friends all the time because, and they usually were younger. All my friends when I was in my 30s were either younger than me or older than me. Like they'd be in their 50s or late 40s, or at least at the age where the kids are out of the house so they could actually have a life. Or they were younger than me, so they were single, or maybe in a relationship, but they were not with kids. And some of them were married. Because I tend to not be friends with women who center men. So even when they're married, and even when they're moms, sometimes they still actually have more time than maybe the average woman, because not centering men, which we're all hopefully trying to learn this. And it takes a long time, and you get better at better with age and practice, but and experience. But not centering men will actually give you more of a social life and free time. He's like, don't even show my face, Mom. Don't worry, I'm not. So having friends who are just available as much as you is great in terms of like people you want to hang out a lot with, but also that doesn't mean that you can't still be friends. It's just they're not as available. And it's so hard to not take that personally. And especially if you're child-free and single like I've been for most of my life. I'm still child-free and I always will be child-free unless something is, you know, whatever. I end up having to take care of someone else's kid because something happens, tragedy or something. It is hard to find people who are in my reality. And a lot of my mom friends, I'd be jealous of because they'd meet friends through school, through this, through that, through community of parenthood, right? So I would have to make friends in very different ways, and I'd also have to adjust the availability and stuff. But one of the things I tried not to do is to make people who do not have as much time meet me at my level, right? And especially when I moved here to France, it's very hard to make friends. So one of my friends, she is awesome. She's like probably my closest friend here. And Danielle talks about this a lot. So please go follow her. Just because I consider her one of my closest friends here doesn't mean that she considers me one of her closest friends. There's mutual respect. There's mutual love. She gives me time when she has time. So, but she grew up here. She has an amazing community, a huge community. She is pulled in so many directions, right? And I'm somebody who showed up here and had to learn a language and make all friends starting from zero. So of course I'm going to be more available. So I may have, I'll reach out to her more to see if she's free. And whenever she is, I take that opportunity, but I never take it personally that she just doesn't have as much friendship bandwidth as I do because she is so good at building community and has so many friends. I don't take it personally that she's not at my level, right? I would love to be one of her besties, but like, I don't need her to match my energy, right? Because there's a mutual respect there of like, this is where she is and what she can give. And what I do know is that she matches my energy in terms of like enthusiasm to see me, mutual respect, mutual love. It is just a time and energy availability thing, and that's it, right? Now, what I don't do is chase after somebody who never meets me halfway in those ways, right? If somebody is just like not that interested and never makes time and never reaches out and I have to do all the stuff, then I probably won't hang out with that person as much because then I start to feel bad about myself. You know what I mean? So there's like a lot of nuance to this conversation. Another thing is money. Money separates people. And this one I really struggle with because I don't drink and I don't eat out much, right? So when I go out, I used to. It's different here because it's easy to like split bills here. But I remember in the US, it was always like so stressed out if I ever went out to dinner with anybody, which was very rare because of this. I don't drink and I didn't have much disposable income for stuff like that. And that's just not what I was. An artist, is barely paying my bills, right? And so people go and throw down and they're like, oh, let's split it 10 ways. And I'm like, hold a second. I had like a water with lemon and French fries because they were $5 and everybody else's order has like $50, $60, $70 worth of foods and drink. So like then you know what I mean? So like money sometimes separates things. So that's why I try to figure out ways to do things with people that doesn't always involve spending a lot of money. I mean, vacations and stuff. I don't really go on friend vacations very much because that alone already is going to create like with someone's budget's not the same, right? So money, availability, children, all kinds of things play into this. But one of the things I always try to remember, even though like I can take it personally, but then I'm like, wait a second, this isn't about me. This isn't about me. Is this about what this person is at? And do they have a sick parent? Do they have, even just, Mose has been, his whole hip thing, like I was not free. That was just for like a week where I was just like, okay, nobody gets anything, they can work and deal with all of this stress. But like things happen in people's lives, especially the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. And the more you start to learn how to set boundaries, keep those boundaries with yourself, right? And if somebody is constantly like wanting more from you and you give what you can and they don't respect that and they get insulted by that and they insist that you give more when you're just not at that place to give, or you're not really growing in that relationship. Time should not necessarily be an indicator of a close relationship. Availability is also not a close indicator. Me and my best friend Liz, we haven't lived in the same town in 18 years. We only see each other face to face once every year at most. But if she calls, I pick up every time and vice versa. We talk regularly. She is my bestie. She's one of my soulmates. She's my primary soulmate for 20 years. So just remember that kind of stuff. Remember that not everyone has to be your best friend. You can have a lot of friends, and you can have a couple that are really close, and then some that are more like, we do things together, but we're not like, I'm not, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that Danielle taught me, is that like, I don't have to be best friends with everyone in my drum club. I'm not meant to be best friends with them. Do I hang out with some of them outside the drum club? Sure, but not all of them, even though I think all of them are cool. People have different availabilities, different life things, different, and that all should be taken in consideration, so that we don't take things so personally and don't expect so much, especially in the age of, you know, people having a hard time paying the rent, and also being pulled in so many directions with social media, and like 10,000 apps I've got to respond people to, and I can't keep up. Can you? Let me know what you think in the comments. And please follow my Patreon. And let me know if you heard that comment song. Welcome to the comment song. The time for you to write a comment. Welcome to the comment song. This is some stuff I saw today. Welcome to the comment song. Random stuff every video. This little bear using a telephone. No idea why. This was a nail shop. I thought it was cute and funny. The comment song. Another dinosaur comment song. This is View Lyon, the old place. It's really pretty. I walked through this and thought, hey, maybe they'd like to see some photos of my town. I don't live in this part, though. I live in the communist area. In the neighborhood with all the socialists and communists and everybody. Not everybody's communist, by the way. But anyway, it's more affordable. It's not as pretty. So I'm showing you this part anyway. Comment song is over. Comment song. Comment now. Random stuff. Oh my God. Sorry, I had to swallow. Anyway, this is a comment song. If voila, let me know if you heard this. Bye.